Yeah. Have you tested? Because I know a lot of people are looking at they don't have a brick and mortar clinic. They want to add these kinds of services into their mobile practice, going to the client's home. Now, I've been a huge advocate for a while now about let the insurance company, let Medicare pay for what Medicare pays for. And then the therapist develops the plan of care. That's a holistic plan of care. So if I believe there's a wellness component that needs to come in and the patient would benefit, it's part of my plan of care. It's not covered by Medicare. It can be provided as a cash-based service. So as a mobile clinician, whether it's a PT, PTA, whomever is going into the home, this seems like one of those ideal scenarios that not every therapist wants to do manual therapy as a self-pay service, but maybe this would be something that would be a self-pay service. So you do 2 units of covered services through Medicare, and then the beneficiary has the option to purchase this program to provide more of a holistic wellness approach in conjunction with the covered service.
Got it. My only concern with that is the logistics and helping the patient understand.
Right,
You hit the nail on the head when you said about mobile. We're
right,
actually going to go mobile later this year and we're going to start in our affluent areas, our Indian Hill and Hyde
sure,
Park and such. But as a standalone service, not physical therapy. But I agree with you. I think our mobile therapists can incorporate this. I would probably do it a little different. I would
got it.
probably have your physical therapist do their Medicare treatments and discharge them right into their stretch mobility program.
Right,
So at that point, you can now sign the ABN. You can say that, your skilled services are complete. And you can say that, this is because I've got it pretty drawn out and clarified with mine. It can be a bridging program. So if you
right,
say that in your marketing, you can clearly say that, these are items that are not skilled services covered by Medicare.
right.
Um, our clients know from our first phone call that after they finish their physical therapy, they're going to the next step of their program. So it's seamless.
Right.
They don't know any different.
And that's a really common question that I get from clinicians. It's how do you have that conversation? What do you say? How do you frame it? How do you get the individual to understand? Well, yesterday was part of your physical therapy service. We were under a plan of care. Now, today, this is not physical therapy. You've completed that step. And now this is a self pay program. Like, what's the conversation like for you?
Yep. First phone call. First phone call totally.
Now you
Okay.
sound like Jerry Durham.
I know. Well, I do love Jerry Durham.
Yeah.
But it is that first phone call. It is setting that expectation up front that, okay, our clinic does things a little different than a typical clinic.
A lot.
And this is how we
Yeah.
explain it to our client. We do have physical therapy services, and that those services are provided by a physical therapist assistant, and they are going to help you reach this goal based on what your insurance coverage
Right.
allows. At that time, the physical therapist is going to tell you what your program is, but we're not going to stop your care when your physical therapy and your insurance says there's no longer coverage. We're going to step you into our next step program, which is a bridging program, and it will be performed by our stretch mobility coaches.
Gotcha. I love
Okay.
it.
And then our stretch mobility coaches actually do a totally different assessment. So you don't just get, so the PTAs don't just get something from the PT and they follow that. They actually have a testing program that
Right.
we've put together, and they determine those new goals based on where the patient is after physical therapy.
And so could you give us an idea of kind of the framework of the program from somebody who's coming in to learn the program, purchase the program? How does it work? How is it delivered? Is it self-paced? Is it live? What are you offering?
Absolutely. So it is in person. Our programs are typically either 6 visits in the program or 12 visits, both of which that continuing on to a maintenance program. And the purpose of the maintenance program is to keep our hands on them to make sure it doesn't restart that process.
Gotcha.
We all know that when we give our patients, the last exercises on the day of the discharge, those aren't enough to stand alone to help them meet their goals and maintain their goals.
Right.
So this maintenance, oh, do you have an Amber Alert coming
Yeah,
through?
I got it earlier. Go ahead.
Yeah, so that is not enough from what we found. And we found that patients would come back and say, well, I did physical therapy and it didn't work, or I did
Right.
chiropractic. So this program is put together for those people in mind to keep us at the forefront of them thinking of us immediately. And when we're with them monthly, then we have the opportunity to also offer these people ER visits, and that's to check them out if they have an ache or pain that comes up suddenly. And we get them into our clinic before they even think about going to a chiropractor.
Okay. Right. When you
Okay.
say ER, what does that stand for?
We call it an emergency visit, is what
Okay.
we say, but it's literally just a discovery exam
Right.
that they pay for.
Right.
And my clients find value in coming to us instead of a chiropractor,
Yeah.
because it's priced the same as a chiropractic visit. And we can get them in because they're a member within 24 hours for the
Sure.
stretch mobility coach. Now, stretch mobility coach will determine if there's red flags. And if
Right.
there are, then they sign them up for an initial evaluation.
So if I wanted to sign up for your course as a therapist, or I want to send one of my team over there, like I work with a lot of PT assistants, what can we expect from that side? So as a student in your course, what can I expect?
Absolutely. It's very comprehensive. So it is going to take 3 months to really understand and train on everything.
Gotcha.
So in the program, you're going to learn not just stretches and such, you're going to learn diagnoses and what effective stretches and manual therapy works to improve those specific conditions. And
Right.
then you're going to get the exercises that work foundationally with those techniques that are phased in different phases that take you through to graduation.
Okay.
Um, there is online training for upper quadrant, hips and back, lower quadrant, and the mobility exam. There are practicums for each of those that you must pass in order to be able to treat and follow the program. And then there's also training on how to market yourself or how to market it within your practice, how to, perform events and things like that. And then there's 2 coaching calls a week that you jump on over and above that training, that you're with me, talking about, hey, I picked up this person. This is what they present with. This is what I've done. This is where we are, where we're walking them actually through the program to completion. And from completion to signing them up for a year's contract for a maintenance.
Okay. This is the client you're talking about.
That absolutely, but
Right.
that's all taught to the PTA or PT in the program.
Okay. And what is the enrollment process for a therapist or a PTA? Do they go to a website? Do they sign up? Do they get access to videos once they do? What happens at that point?
Yeah, absolutely. I have a platform that hosts it. I have Podia, so you get a link that talks about the program. But first, you're on a call with me. We want
Okay.
to strategize to make sure it's a good fit for you and something that you do want to do, and that it's cost effective. That you're actually going to make money from the program.
Yeah.
Once you do that, I send you the link explaining a little bit more, but also the link to be able to sign up. Once you sign up, you have to sign a waiver to make sure you understand that it's a trademarked method,
Gotcha.
um, and that you'll follow the method. And once you've done that, you've got your resource center for your training. You schedule your one-on-one practicums once you've gone through those. And then it's 2 times a week calls for 3 months that are
Okay.
Zoom calls that are training to get you where you need to be.
And are therapists allowed to use the name Stretch Mobility in
Mhm.
their marketing? How does that work?
Yes, absolutely. So they get to be a stretch mobility coach, provide those services, and I'll give them the logo so that they can promote it and all the marketing material that I use, forms everything. It's totally turnkey. So you have everything that you need to be able to market it, to be able to accept a client into your practice or mobily,
Right.
and be able to fully feel confident in your skills to be able to perform that as well.
Now, most of the audience who is going to see this are PTs and PTAs, but I also work with a ton of OTs and CODAs. I know a lot of them want to move into this world of wellness. Is there an opportunity for them here?
Absolutely. I would probably say they should take a basic course of joint mobilizations first. And Rehab Champions has one for $65. It's pretty cheap. But it gets that theory of understanding joints and that, because we build upon that. That's sort of foundational for
Awesome.
this program.
So what we'll do, we'll wrap it up here. I'll go ahead and get your links. I'll put them in the video description, and then I'll pin them as the first comment under this video. Uh, if people want to get a hold of you outside of that, what's the best way for people to reach you?
They can always reach out, email Kim at stretchphysicaltherapy.com, Facebook, message me is fine. And I'll get you links for a strategy call so that they can jump on a call to learn more.
Awesome. Perfect. Well,
Yeah.
Kim, thank you so much for taking the time out. I know you have other calls that you need to get on. So I just want to say I appreciate what you're doing. And I think you set such an amazing example for so many people out there, PTs, PTAs, otherwise, that just need to understand if you have a passion and dream and you want to get it done, it can be done. Just because it's not the conventional way to do it doesn't mean you can't do it. So thank you so much for
Absolutely.
coming on.
Thank you, Tony. It's an honor. Always love to see you and talk to you.
All right. Stay right there.
Okay.